All right, let's get right into it. Today is day 63, and what we're looking at is nothing short of the ultimate stress test. This isn't some theoretical model. This is a live, real-time breakdown of the entire Plazm thesis under the most extreme market pressure you can imagine. If you've been digging into the mechanics of this protocol, well, this is the moment of truth. Let's dive in.
But first, the usual heads up. This is all for educational purposes. It's not financial advice. We're just looking at the raw data coming straight from the protocol's performance.
You know, what we're seeing right now, it's not a crisis for the protocol, far from it. It's the perfect experiment. The entire market is in a full-blown panic, and that gives us the exact conditions we need to see if this engine we've all been talking about actually holds up when things get ugly.
So let's paint the picture. Our benchmark, ETH, is down a whopping 10% in a single day. This is the kind of macro-level pressure cooker we are now operating in.
And it gets worse. Market sentiment has absolutely hit rock bottom. A fear and greed index of 24. That is deep in extreme fear territory. So this isn't just about price. It's a psychological assault on every single system in crypto.
And yeah, let's be real, Plazm has felt that pain. A 53% drop since day 60 is a heavy hit, no doubt about it. But that's exactly what triggers this whole analysis. This is where the protocol's design is supposed to kick in and do its job.
So that brings us to the $1 million question. With the market on fire, sentiment in the toilet, and our own token price getting hammered. Did the system hold, or did it finally break? Let's get into the data and find out.
Our first stop has to be the primary defense layer, the mathematical price floors. But to really get this, you have to completely toss out the idea of a simple static number. It's way more dynamic than that.
See, the floors are dynamic. This is so crucial to understand. They aren't some fixed line in the sand. They are a living, breathing target that's constantly being recalculated based on key metrics happening inside the protocol at this very moment.
So what moves them? Well, it's mainly three things. First, as the liquid supply of the token goes up, the floor per token goes down. Simple math. Second, since our liquidity is based on eShare, if the price of eShare drops, so does the dollar value of our floor. And third, while adding liquidity can raise the floor, in a brutal crash like this one, those first two factors have a much bigger downward pull.
So after all that math gets crunched, this is where we're at right now. The base floor is sitting at 22 cents. The more inclusive all-pulse floor is at 31 cents. These are our fundamental lines of defense as of today.
Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting. Just look at the distance between where the price is and where that backstop is. Even after a 53% drop, the price at 77 cents isn't even in the same neighborhood as those floors. This chart right here perfectly shows you what we mean by a massive safety cushion.
Let's put a number on it. The price is currently a full 250% higher than the base floor. It would have to crash another 71% from where we are right now just to say hello to that first line of defense. The cushion is just huge.
And here it is. This is the most important and totally counterintuitive takeaway from this whole section. Because the floors dropped faster than the price did, our safety margin, that cushion, it actually grew during the crash. It's a paradox, I know. But we are further away from our mathematical floor now than we were before this whole dip even started.
So, we've established the floors are holding up with this massive cushion. But now, let's go deeper, into the engine room. This next bit, this is the single most critical finding of this entire analysis. We're talking about yield coming in versus defense going out. This is the headline. This is the smoking gun, the discovery that validates the entire idea of a perpetual defense. While the market was in a total freefall and the defenses were firing, the protocol's USDC pools, we're talking the actual cash reserves, they didn't shrink, they grew.
Look at this comparison. It tells the whole story. On the left, you see the eShare Defense Pools. They did exactly what they're supposed to do. They deployed about $4,500 to support the price. But on the right, the USDC pools, which are fed by real yields from outside sources, they grew by $230 during the exact same time.
This is it, plain and simple. Yield in is greater than defense out. Even under maximum stress, the engine is generating more cash than the defense system is spending. This is the concrete, indisputable evidence of a perpetual, self-funding defense mechanism doing its thing.
So why is this such a big deal? It's because it proves a fundamental decoupling. The speculative price of the Plazm token and the actual health of the underlying yield engine, they're two completely separate things.
Just think about how almost every other protocol works, right? A market crash happens, and their treasury is just a bucket of money that drains and drains and drains until it's empty. Here, the literal opposite happened. While our finite E-share reserves were being used as planned, our perpetual USDC engine was actually refilling itself, making the whole system stronger. And the reason is so simple. The yield comes from DexFi bond trading fees. That's external market activity. That engine has no idea what the Plazm price is. It doesn't care if it's up 50% or down 50%. It just keeps on generating real dollar yield day in and day out.
Okay, so let's pull all this data together. Let's render a final verdict on what this insane real-world stress test has now definitively proven about this protocol's design.
Let's just list the facts that have now been confirmed. 1. The cushion above the floors isn't just massive, it actually grew. 2. The yield engine is bringing in more cash than the defense is deploying. 3. The USDC reserve pools grew while the market was on fire. 4. The yield is completely and totally decoupled from the token's price. And 5. The entire core thesis of a perpetual defense mechanism has now been validated under the harshest conditions you could possibly throw at it.
You know, there's a specific term for this. It isn't just resilient or robust, it's anti-fragile. An anti-fragile system is one that actually gains from chaos. It gets stronger when it's exposed to shocks and volatility. By seeing the defenses work, the engine proven, and the cushion grow, you can argue this stress test has actually made the protocol's case stronger, not weaker.
So, what's the ultimate takeaway from day 63? It's simple. When the market was bleeding out, when fear was at its absolute peak, the mechanics worked. They worked exactly as designed. The engine didn't just survive the storm, it proved it can thrive in it. This is no longer just a theory. The protocol has been crash tested. The thesis is validated.